Hello and welcome to the Universe Sandbox Alpha 19 preview. We're going to have a look at some of the features they've added in this latest release. You can currently get this alpha if you do have the game by going under the betas tab in the Steam options, I do believe. Now the first thing they've added is Roche Limits. Now these Roche Limits are theoretical sort of boundaries where if you're sort of a small body and there's a larger body such as Earth and you're the moon, and if you get to this point called the Roche Limit, at this point you will begin to be torn apart by the tidal forces exerted by the larger body, in this example Earth, on the moon, and you get all torn apart. Now let's do this on Universe Sandbox. So this is all new, none of this has been added before. So here we have the Earth. Oh, hang on, it's a bit odd. There we go, here's Earth. As you can see, now this exerts a gravitational pull. Now, if we add a planet or moon inside the Roche Limit, as in it's, say the Roche Limit was here, you can see my mouse going, and the Roche Limit was like here, it will be torn apart. Now let's deal with the moon. Now if we go on the moon option here, slow the time step down a bit, and we have the moon just here. Now, if the moon was this close, as you can see, its temperature is increasing very, very fastly due to the tidal forces. Now, of course, if this was true, as you can see, the moon is heating up and lava is beginning to form, and yeah, so pretty mad stuff is happening, and that's not going to be good for the Earth either. Because the moon's this close, the tidal forces exerted by the moon on the Earth is going to create ridiculously high tides, but obviously Universe Sandbox hasn't really added that yet. But I've read somewhere that they are looking at sort of tides that could sort of go over the continents, and that'll be a really good addition. But for this alpha they've added the tidal forces, and as you can see the moon is beginning to break up, and if you leave it long enough it'll actually form a ring around the Earth. And that's how some belief is that the Saturnus rings, the rings of Saturn, are actually caused by a moon getting a bit too close and being torn apart by gravitational forces. Now, as you can see, because the moon is that hot, the Earth is being heated up a bit, and as you can see, the oceans is beginning to boil a bit away. It's not very green anymore, is it? Antarctica is pretty much no snow or ice on that. No ice in the top bit, the Arctic. This isn't very nice. But yeah, this is just a simulation to show what would happen if the moon was this close. It will never be this close. It was at one time this close, but it won't be anymore. The moon is moving away from it. But yeah, but this can have important sort of effects, because if we have a look at the Jupiter simulation, where it's Jupiter and moons, let's find it. Here it is. Now, as you can see, we have Jupiter, and it's all millions of moons, not millions, but about 60 or 70. But as you can see, this one here, let's slow the time step down so you can have a look at it. Now, the surface temperature of Europa, one of the 4 Galilean moons, is minus 261 degrees C. Now, this is very, very cold, and surely there is no water, liquid water, on the surface. There's lots of ice. It's covered in a thick layer of ice. But because of these tidal interactions from Jupiter, exerted on Europa by Jupiter, it manages to sustain a liquid ocean underneath its surface. Now this is really exciting, because as good as Mars is, there isn't really, if we are going to find life, it's going to be either remnants of life or microbial life. And as amazing as that would be, as Neil deGrasse Tyson said, we should send a probe to Europa, a probe that can dig down through the ice and put a little camera in the water, and they'll see if anything comes up and licks it. That's how cool this is. And I think a couple of the other Galilean moons also have an ocean beneath the surface. I think Ganymede definitely does. So yeah, it's really cool. And that's pretty much all on Roche Limits. You can play around with that yourself. And the second thing they've added is a new sort of the sort of redone explosions in terms of what it looks like. So if we get the Earth, it's always the best thing to explore. Where's it gone? Earth, where is it? I did put that down, I'm sure it did. Okay, let's just put it down again. Earth, bang. Oh no, wait. There's the other Earth. Now, which Earth do we want? Get rid of this Earth. Go back to the original Earth. Said Earth too much now, sounds odd. Okay, right, here's Earth. Earth. Now, if we get Earth, okay, I'll stop now. If we go on power, then explode and slow the time step down a bit. Now, this should explode and it should look really cool. Whoa! That looks amazing. Look at that, there's a sort of a shockwave. And it turns all into fragments. That is so cool. I thought it would just turn into fragments. I think that happened before. But yeah, now we can blow up these fragments. Oh, do not blow up the fragments if you've got a slow computer. Oh dear. Okay, let's try it with something else. Let's try it with the sun. That should be a good idea. There we go. There's the sun. Bang. Now if we go on power, explode, back. Is that it? Is that it? No more sun? No supernova? Oh, fine, okay. And another thing that they've added is a few physics simulations. Now I haven't actually seen any of these yet, but there are 4 simulations. So here we have exploding Jupiter. I wonder what that could be. Okay. Ooh. Wow. That's very cool. Here we have Sun and close Jupiter. Whoa, very close Jupiter. It's beginning to fragmentate. That isn't a word, by the way, don't use it. Oh yeah, that looks cool. This is the ring I was talking about. If we increase the time step, eventually we'll have sort of a ring. I don't think it'll work with this, because there's just not enough sort of particles to make a visible ring. But as you can see, there is sort of a ring structure beginning to appear. And that's what does happen when a moon approaches the Roche limit. And yeah, the others are cool, you can check them out. And another thing they've added is 3 new objects. So we've got open, new empty simulation, add. Objects. Go down. And what they've added is the New Horizons probe, which in July of last year, if it loads, if it wants to load. Oh, there it is. July of last year, went past Pluto, and I'm pretty sure it stopped taking measurements of it now, and it's just on its way out of the solar system. Yeah, it's really cool. They've added the actual probe into the game. So that's one of the things they've added, if we just delete that. Second thing is the 3rd stage of Apollo 12, which is, hang on. Oh, there it is, never mind. Wait, where is it? Sorry about this. Don't really know what's going on. There we go. Positive infinity Milky Way. What's going on? Where's the... Why is it lagging? Okay, one sec. Let's just open a new simulation. I'm sorry about this. So if we add... And then... No. If we add... And then 3rd stage... There we go. That's more like it. Now this, of course, was using the Apollo missions between 1966 and 73, I do believe. And it was also used to launch components of the Skylab, which was the first ever space station. So yeah, pretty cool stuff. And the other thing they've added is the police box from Doctor Who. Can't all be sciencey. I suppose it is sciencey, science fiction-y. Yeah. So that's it. That's the end of what's been added. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you liked it, give it a like. If you really liked it, subscribe, and if you really loved it, share it. Of course, if you didn't like it, give it a nice little dislike, and I'll see you on the night.